Alright, game number 2, guys. This is the winner's bracket. Zombie Grub and Rifkin casting for you. I'm, of course, Rifkin. She is Zombie Grub. And in the top northern spawn location, the man, the myth, the legend, the red Terran player from CM Storm. Give it up for Polt. Yeah! Woo!
And in the bottom position, as the pink Terran, it is Root's Illusion.
Root for root. Of course, I do need to remind everybody there is a loser's bracket attached to this. But you know what? I am so silly. I was telling people throughout the broadcast today you should tweet at me the matches you want to see played. But I forgot. Farside is in our chat. He's in our Twitch chat. He's being an awesome admin. And he's, of course, controlling the games. Guys, spam chat. You have my permission. Well, okay, maybe not spam. Calm down. But let chat know, let Farside, the admin for the tournament, know what games you want to see cast so that he can hold the matches and we're not sitting here twiddling our thumbs hoping people get out of a best of 3 for us to cast. So after this one's done, of course, we'll just kind of leave it to him and you guys to help us pick what matches we play, or sorry, what matches get played here on the silver screen.
Silver?
Well, yes, the movies, we're on the main stage. I don't know, I'm trying to make it cooler than it is, okay, Zombie Grub? Everyone's at their computers, we know it.
I feel we gotta get a new term for that then. We're special.
Yeah, there's probably one guy. There's probably one guy who's like got this big home theater. His projector is projecting on his wall. It's like 50 feet big, and he's like, these guys don't know nothing.
I wish, man. I love when they post their setups and it's like totally awesome, and I'm like, just like sitting alone in my room, like my dinky little monitors. It's fine.
Well, speaking of totally awesome, a small little shout out here, not to take away from the game, but of course it's a bit slow at the start. Ditchercraft just subbed to the channel. New sub hype. Everyone make sure to give that guy a bit of a shout out.
Tasia clap.
Tasia clap. I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to get the translations done to let him to get that emoticon when I can. But okay, Polt's actually going for a bit of a full wall off here, which is an odd thing to see, but you usually do this if you smell Hellions coming, because you don't want them running up your ramp. Oftentimes you don't put supply depots down like this, because they're so easily taken down by a quick siege tank push or weird amounts of Marines with good positioning, but I think Polt's really afraid of Lucian coming at him hard and early.
Yeah, it is interesting, because if you're going to wall off because you didn't want an easy scout, then you would wall off with your racks, right? So that must be what his plan is. And Illusion has shown in the past that he has those builds that are like early Hellion, like not even just a RAS, like he means to end the game with earlier Hellions. I've seen it a lot, but that's not what.
It's like the opposite. It's a faster doing. Command center.
Yeah, it's the same thing as last game. That's what it is.
Alright, well this time Polt, he's not going to quite have that Banshee. That second gas was not taken, so the earlier push in that regard is going to be somewhat stifled. I'm thinking this is going to be a medevac. With the Hellions and the Marines, there's a lot of dead space in Polar Night, and I got to be honest, still a lot of players lose the game because they don't have this northern part of their base scouted. They don't see this coming until it's already unloaded. And now, you know what? This is making a lot more sense of why he walled this off, because he didn't want to risk some sort of run by. Even if it was a giant Marine attack, they have to stop at the spot where they got to tear it down, and that gives Polt time to come home and respond. But SCV gets picked off by these Marines, so let's just check how much Polt saw with that. He saw the earlier command center, so he's going to be really happy knowing that. For Illusion, yeah, the Marines are going to struggle against the Marines that are going to get healed by a medevac, but more importantly, the Hellions with good positioning add so much damage to this.
Yeah. We'll have to see what he chooses to do, whether or not he, just takes the Marines and drops in the main, and then the Hellions try and go to the natural. A lot of times you see lift-ups, the elevator trick. I think that's, probably the best one that you can do. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of blank space, as Illusion has just barely made his factory far enough that it's not going to be possible for Polt to be completely unscouted till the very, very last minute.
Still, this is going to be difficult because, of course, the Hellions are going to run through and go straight for that mineral line from that ramp. If Illusion pulls all of his Marines, he's going to have to pull all of his Marines to deal with this. The Raven is coming out, and I think Polt's realized, like, Illusion might be onto my builds. He might be onto my shenanigans. The Widowmine's coming to intercept a Banshee, but that's not what it's going to find. Oh,
okay,
full
he doesn't?
elevator.
Nope. Oh, shoot, he does go ahead and go over there.
Just barely enough vision.
Oh,
line him up with those Marines. Illusion's got to be careful with this fight. Some of these Marines are low, but he actually takes off one of the Hellions really early, which is key to this upcoming engagement. But of course, the more he clumps, the more dangerous this gets. May lose a supply depot here for free, and he knows the danger of letting those Hellions get to his mineral line. But with 2 Hellions instead of 3, the SCVs will not be one-shot, and this is not as scary. Still has to deal with this drop, though, and he's handling it quite effectively. He is not panicking in the slightest, and is taking very minimal worker losses. Raven honestly would probably be best suited to throw down an auto turret in this sort of scenario.
Especially if Polt considers, you know, continuing this multi-pronged harass. But unfortunately, his Hellions go down, so Illusion only has to worry about one front a lot easier. So we're probably going to save that Raven for later.
Yeah, his middle line being safe is huge, but these Marines are so weak. Like, they took such a beating from that earlier attack. Again, an auto turret needs to go down. It looks like it will be the choice here for Illusion. Now, the auto turret is not like an automatic I win, but it does have quite a bit of health. It's armored, and it does a fair amount of damage. So by leaving it up here in the north with that Widowmine, Illusion only has to concentrate his forces down here more towards the southern part of his base. Has Polt started making a command center? He did. Okay, he's got an orbital finishing up here in a moment's time. His production's kicking up. So not an all-in out of Polt. Just a very nice attack that definitely got harass done. Whether it was worth it or not, I don't know. He only lost Marines. Illusion didn't lose a whole lot of SCVs, and his economy has not been hampered by this at all.
Yeah. His start for production, I guess, has been hampered a little bit. I thought maybe he would just only go for the Raven like last time and then, you know, use it much later. But he is going for some Banshees. This is going to be kind of important right now because Polt is trying to do somewhat of like a, I guess, a soft contain. Of course, if it goes on for too long, it does get, you know, pretty much unbreakable. But for right now, it's, you know, you can break out of it. But a Banshee is so much more helpful. If they don't think of keeping a scan and your Banshee takes out the tank, they have to leave.
Yeah. Alright, well, Command Center should not die here, but not fun having to bring it back. If Illusion wanted to be really ballsy, he could try and sneak that out to another corner of the map, as sometimes players will do on Frost. It's no reason to scout around, especially when you're Polt in this sort of scenario. But I like the Command Center here. It's going to provide that vision he really needs. You can't afford to burn scans on this, and this will show where the Banshee can and cannot get in and out. Illusion really needs to get his own tank out here quickly, though.
This Banshee is, I think, enough. Yeah, in fact, Polt is leaving. He saves the tank, though, and tries to take out the Banshee.
I really like that he lifted up that tank. Of course, you can heal Marines, but you can't heal the tank, so to speak. A small shout out while we're waiting here to Some Poor Kid, new sub hype. Just while we got a bit of a delay between this engagement. Another subscriber. Thank you for your support, man. But Blue Flame on the way for Illusion. This is going to make it a little bit easier to deal with. He's got so many Hellions that the Marines are no longer really a threat, even without that Blue Flame. And let's not forget that Banshee is going to absolutely destroy the tank, which is hiding inside the medevac.
Now, one of the Banshees of Illusion did go over to the other side of the map. He's going to get a few SCVs. Has to be careful because, of course, Polt saw it. Immediately got a turret. It can take on a lot of, you know, everything else, though. Even reactors, if Polt doesn't, you know, react fast enough, although I think he will.
Yeah, I like that he's trying to keep it out of range of that turret. Trying to be very careful. This he did not. I mean, he's got cloak, but he's not. There's not three Banshees coming out of this, right? There's the one with the army. There's this one here, and if he loses either of these too quickly, it could be problematic. But coming to the base of Polt, a little bit blindly, he finds a bunch of Marauders and tanks. Not something that Illusion was hoping to see. Was hoping that his opponent perhaps was a little bit stifled from the dedication of that early attack, but that wasn't the case.
And of course, Polt seeing that Rax was like, well, I'm not gonna be the same mistake, although I don't really if you call it a mistake since it went so well last game, but of just getting just Marines. You know, I have so many Marauders that your Hellions aren't gonna be effective whatsoever. This Banshee is being effective still. There is scans available, but he doesn't know what's behind that, right? If he sims in to try and kill the Banshee, maybe tank fire goes down on him.
Let's not forget, there's always the threat of that Seeker missile, but ooh, tank a little bit awkwardly positioned. Has to be careful. Oh. Viking will be taken out here. Polt losing that Viking's actually a lot of control now out the window. Of course, he needs every little bit because there's just not a lot of anti-air. And this Banshee, it's not killing a lot, but it's harassing quite a bit. Oh, will lose it though. Yikes.
He has another one. Because like I'm saying, like not the damage done, like that's obviously great too, but pulling them, oh, never mind. Polt's just going for it. It's trying to break out of here.
Seeker missile's going to go off on the tank.
Too long.
This isn't going to work too well for Illusion. Raven's going to go down too. But this isn't like last game. He's not completely out of the game at this point. He's got production going this time, something he really couldn't afford last game. Unfortunately for a mech player, though, your production is always going to be slow, no matter what, compared to a bio player. So only 2 tanks at home and in a very awkward spot. Polt could drop into the main and get a huge advantage.
Another important thing to notice is that Polt doesn't have a third command center. He has a lot of production off of just 2 bases. If he does a push, well, he just puts on third command center now, but he has so much army right now, you know, compared to what Illusion has back at home. I mean, look what Illusion has back at home. Is that scary? Like, not really, not against what Polt has.
No, the Vikings is going to be good for air control, but you don't really need air control in this situation. There's not a lot to really contest with.
Unfortunately, Polt's not, you know, I guess not seizing the opportunity. Not yet, but he should push out. You know, as the bio player, you have the opportunity to be out on the map, and you should be. You want to catch the mech balls that's coming across and try and get to stop and start and whatnot. That's not going to happen anytime soon, though. Illusion's got to wait a long time to have that death wall to comfortably push out again.
Well, small little intermission here. I apparently missed one of the subs, and I do apologize. I'll get that sorted later. But for now, Polt's, you know, he's finally got that third base on the way. He's going to have it up mining in a second's time, and Illusion is, I don't know, in a bit of an odd spot. Tearing down the back rocks like this, I wonder if he's planning to take this base here a little more secured versus Polt's.
That must be his game plan on this map for going for mech. You know, you get that third as he did, and that goes in the regular third place, and then you get a very, very early fourth, and that goes in the, you know, the pocket base.
Alright, well, a little bit worried here for Illusion. Not gonna lie. Polt's army is not so overwhelming that it's gonna choke him out, but for Illusion, he doesn't have a lot to keep those Marauders back. They could stim right into this tank line, and they're gonna get killed, but that'll allow Polt to get his own tanks up.
Oh no, siege those tanks! No, stop attacking the rocks! Oh no, I don't think Polt notices that or knows what's happening, but that could have been bad.
There's all these Vikings in the air too that are not going to provide a lot to this game. If he had that Banshee still, he could snipe off all of these tanks with relative ease, but not going to quite be the case. SCVs are repairing the heck out of this one tank for Illusion to keep it alive, but the siege tanks are in range of that factory. Luckily, though, with the Vikings patrolling like this, there's not going to be any sort of air control. Polt has to scan every time he wants to attack, and that's a costly investment, but Vikings in the wrong spot as Medevacs are preparing to hit the main. There's some turrets here, sure, and one Widow Mine. But Marauders are still going to get out. It looks like this factory is going to burn down.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Oh, does not get the second medevac, but it's not dropping either.
If that Widow Mine had got off on the medevac, maybe. Vikings could land to clean this up. There's not a lot of Marauders here, but there's certainly an annoying amount. Looks like the factory not going to burn down as he did start repairing that while this was going on. And Timbo to Animal was the name I missed earlier. I'm super sorry about that, man. But much love goes to you too, and thank you for your support. Vikings, though, oh man, these Vikings, they're so nice to land against an army like this, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do that on top of the tanks. There's enough Marauders here to guard this out. Siege tanks for Illusion are actually in such a good spot, and Polt's going to be pushed back out of this. You know, this was really where coming into this, I thought Illusion was going to be in a lot of trouble. He had those tanks attacking the rocks. He didn't have the vision around, like, the eastern half of his base, but as we see, he holds, and not only that, he's slowly but surely expanding behind this.
I think his plan was to take that regular third there, but of course with being contained as he is, just went for the, what would have been maybe the fourth. The Marine did scout it though, so Polt knows it's on the way, and that doesn't necessarily mean he can do anything about it, as it is hard to get back there, especially when the game goes on longer, but if he finds a pathway, then that's going to die pretty easily.
Well, speaking of a pathway, this siege tank is not sieged. The Marines will be taken out of this pretty quickly, but unfortunately, the Marauders are those armored units, so the Hellions aren't going to add too much to this. If they had transformation servos, Hellbats would be fantastic, but not going to be the case. That tank's taken out immediately, and even if the Vikings land, they can't really contend with this army.
I don't think they should.
He just gave away his air advantage. That was the biggest thing that Illusion had going for him. This base is going to go down, so are the SCVs, and suddenly Illusion goes from good to bad in a moment, like in an instant.
I think it went from bad from worse, actually.
Well,
the supply has been pretty telltale for the entire time.
Polt pushes to the main. He saw the tanks on siege to go to respond to that back base. Now caught sieging up once again. Illusion just a little bit out of position. Will clean this up, but man, did he take losses for it. Lots of tanks to go down. It's a lot of gas out the drain, and he really needs to repair this orbital. It's going to burn down. Oh my god.
I think, oh please, for the love of God, see it. Well, it might burn down, so what's pretty important is that Polt, while he's not ending the game right now, he has been doing whatever he wanted back home. He got up to 4 bases, he still has a gigantic army off the top of a lot of production.
His upgrades, I didn't even pay attention to the upgrades this game, because we've been so focused on the tanks for the positioning. Illusion literally has no upgrades right now, guys. Like, you just can't play TVT like this. Polt's coming up on 3-3. Illusion's going to be 0-0. These Marines are just going to rip through even the armored units like tanks.
It's pretty bad when the mech player has worse mech upgrades than the bio player.
A nice drop on top of the tank with those Marauders, and of course the rest are going to stim right on through. Tanks have been pretty good for Illusion this game, but finally going to give way. Good game is called. Polt will take it 2-0 and advance in the winners brackets.